What if I told you that the United States just gave away one of the biggest economic windfalls in the history of American sports, and nobody in Washington is talking about it? What if I told you that right now, as we speak, billions of dollars that were supposed to flow into American hotels, American restaurants, American businesses, and American workers' pockets are quietly being redirected to Canada, to Mexico, and away from the communities that need it most? No war, no disaster, no foreign attack, just policy and silence. I'm Rachel, and this is the story they don't want you to connect the dots on. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to see exactly how a $30 billion gift, your country's gift, just got handed to our neighbors without a single shot fired. Let's start at the beginning, because to understand what's being lost, you first have to understand what was promised. The 2026 FIFA World Cup, hosted right here in America, along with Canada and Mexico. Now, the World Cup is not just a soccer tournament. It is the single most watched sporting event on planet Earth. More eyeballs than the Olympics, more passion than the Super Bowl. Billions of people tuned in from every corner of the globe. And when FIFA awarded the 2026 World Cup to North America, the United States got the lion's share. 11 American cities, 78 out of 104 total matches, including both semifinals and the grand final, all on American soil. The economic projections were staggering. A FIFA and World Trade Organization joint study estimated that the World Cup would deliver $30.5 billion in gross economic output for the United States alone. That's not a typo. $30.5 billion, with a potential contribution of $17.2 billion directly to U.S. GDP, an estimated 185,000 jobs created. A White House task force put that job number even higher, up to 290,000 positions across the country. Think about what that means for regular Americans: hotel workers, restaurant staff, taxi and rideshare drivers, security personnel, local vendors, small business owners, families who live near stadiums, cities that have been waiting years for this moment. Between 5 to 7 million international visitors were expected to descend on the United States for this tournament. And international tourists are not your average visitors. They don't eat one meal and go home. According to tourism data, international visitors spend roughly 4 times more than domestic travelers. On average, each World Cup international visitor was projected to stay around 12 days and spend approximately $416 per day on hotels, meals, transportation, and entertainment. This was supposed to be a golden moment, a once-in-a-generation windfall for the American economy, the biggest sporting event ever hosted on U.S. soil. So what happened? Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because while the stadiums are being prepped, while the jerseys are being stitched, while the world is counting down to kickoff on June 11th, something has been quietly unraveling behind the scenes. The international fans who were supposed to flood American cities? Many of them aren't coming. Let's look at the numbers first, because numbers don't lie. In 2025, the year leading up to the World Cup, the United States recorded a 6.3% decline in international visitors. Let that sink in for a moment. The rest of the world was experiencing a travel renaissance. Tourism was booming globally, and the United States, the country about to host the World Cup, was the only major global destination to see a drop in foreign tourism, the only one. That translated to inbound international visits falling from 72.4 million in 2024 to approximately 67.9 million in 2025. A loss of roughly 4.5 million visitors in a single year. The World Travel and Tourism Council estimated that the United States missed out on $12.5 billion in immediate visitor spending in 2025 alone, with some analysts putting the total economic hit, including indirect losses, closer to $30 billion. And now, with the World Cup weeks away, economists are sounding the alarm that the tournament's projected boost may not fully materialize. Sports economist Andrew Zimbalist of Smith College has warned that FIFA's predicted $30 billion payoff won't pan out as advertised, noting that fans from many countries simply will not be able to send their people to U.S. soil, and that many non-elite matches will see far lower attendance than expected. Experts at the Council on Foreign Relations have echoed the same concern, that foreign soccer fans without tickets will think twice before even attempting the entry process to get to America. And for many of them, that hesitation is costing America dearly. So why are the fans staying away? Let's break it down. America currently has an expanded travel ban affecting 39 nations. 39. That means fans from those countries, including nations with active World Cup teams like Iran, Senegal, Ivory Coast, and Haiti, simply cannot enter the United States to watch their teams play. They can watch from home. They can watch from Canada. They can watch from Mexico, but they cannot walk into an American stadium. Now, the ban only restricts entry to the United States. Canada and Mexico are not bound by these rules. So here's what that creates. A fan from a banned nation whose team is playing in this World Cup has exactly one option if they want to see their team in person. Buy a ticket to a match being played in Toronto or Mexico City instead of Dallas or Miami. And that money, that hotel booking, that restaurant meal, that taxi ride, it stays in Canada. It stays in Mexico. Reason number 2, the visa nightmare. Even for fans from countries that are not on the banned list, the process of getting into the United States has become a significant deterrent. Visa processing delays are affecting travelers from key markets including China, India, and large parts of Africa and South America. The U.S. State Department launched a FIFA priority appointment scheduling system called FIFA Pass to try to speed up visa interviews for ticket holders. But many analysts have described it as too little, too late. Backlogs in major soccer markets remain a critical problem. New requirements asking visa applicants to disclose 5 years of social media history have been identified as a major deterrent, especially for long-haul travelers. Many fans look at the paperwork, the waiting time, the cost, and the uncertainty, and they make a rational decision. They choose Canada, they choose Mexico, or they stay home. Reason number 3, the perception problem. This one is harder to quantify, but in some ways, it may be the most damaging. Economists have identified what they call the Trump slump, a sharp reduction in foreign visitor arrivals, driven not just by policy, but by perception, by the image of America in the eyes of the world. Trade tariffs have created friction with European nations, with Canada, and with South American partners. In countries like Germany and France, consumer surveys are showing something remarkable, a sentiment of what researchers are calling conscientious avoidance. Fans who once viewed a U.S.-based World Cup as a bucket list experience are now choosing to spend their 2026 summer vacations somewhere else. Not because of a law, not because of a visa, but because they simply do not feel welcome. Canadian visits to the United States fell by approximately 28 to 30% in 2025. Canadians, historically the single largest source of foreign tourists to America, gone, down by nearly a third. Retail businesses, restaurants, and lodging near the northern border have been hit hard. And all of that spending power, it doesn't disappear. It redirects. It goes to local Canadian destinations. It goes to European vacations. And for World Cup purposes, it stays in venues north of the border. Now, I want you to understand, this is not theoretical. This is happening right now. Major U.S. host cities, including New York, New Jersey, Boston, and Seattle, have publicly scaled back or altered their original FIFA Fan Festival plans. These free open-air events featuring concerts, sponsor activations, watch parties, and daily gatherings were supposed to be the heartbeat of the World Cup experience for fans who didn't even have tickets. In New York and New Jersey, the originally planned fan festival at Liberty State Park, expected to welcome tens of thousands of fans every single day from June 11th through July 19th, was completely abandoned. A plan that was officially announced and celebrated just months ago, scrapped. Officials cited cost and logistics, but the conversation behind the scenes has quietly shifted from, how do we make this amazing, to, how do we avoid losing money? Here's the structural problem that nobody wants to talk about loudly. Under the 2026 hosting model, American cities and states are responsible for security costs, policing, emergency services, permitting, and operational costs tied to matches and fan festivals. Those bills are paid up front. Meanwhile, FIFA, the organization running this entire event, retains ticket revenue, global sponsorships, hospitality sales, and broadcast income projected to surpass $11 billion. If tourism flows underperform, if security costs escalate, if international fans don't show up in the numbers projected, the shortfall does not hit FIFA's balance sheet. It hits the budgets of American cities. It hits American taxpayers. Hotel bookings in cities like Atlanta, Los Angeles, New York, Miami, Dallas, and Seattle are running slower than expected. International commitment is more reserved than planners had hoped. Airfare prices from key international markets have surged 25 to 30% compared to prior years, pushing potential visitors from South America, Europe, and Asia to reconsider. So let's ask the obvious question. If the money is leaving American cities, where is it going? Canada and Mexico are each hosting 13 matches in this World Cup. That's far fewer than America's 78. But here's the thing about those 13 matches in Canada and Mexico. The fans who were shut out of the United States, they can get there. No expanded travel ban, no 5-year social media disclosure requirement, far simpler entry processes, a warmer political welcome. Fans from nations on the U.S. travel ban list are actively looking at Canadian and Mexican match schedules to see their teams play. Those hotel reservations are being made in Toronto and Guadalajara, not in Houston and Miami. And beyond the direct World Cup impact, there's a broader tourism story. Every international visitor who reroutes around the United States, whether for a World Cup match or just a summer vacation, represents a choice that benefits another economy. That money builds infrastructure somewhere else. It funds jobs somewhere else. It grows someone else's GDP. America set the table. America built the feast. And right now, the guests are choosing to eat next door. I want to bring this back to something real. Because when we talk about billions of dollars, it can feel abstract. So let me make it personal. The 290,000 jobs that were projected from this World Cup, those aren't corporate jobs. Those are hospitality workers, hotel housekeeping staff, event security officers, shuttle bus drivers, food vendors, T-shirt sellers, parking attendants, many of them in cities that have been waiting for this economic boost for years. If international attendance falls short, those jobs don't fully materialize. The restaurant that hired 6 extra servers may only need 2. The hotel that was fully booked 6 months out now has vacancies. The small business owner who invested in new inventory for the flood of foreign fans now sits on unsold stock. This is the real cost, not just a number on an economic report, but the missed overtime, the reduced hours, the small businesses that bet on a windfall that didn't fully arrive. Here's what I want you to take away from this. The 2026 World Cup is still going to happen. It is still going to be an extraordinary event. There will still be matches and fans and moments that make you proud to be an American. But the $30 billion promise, the transformative economic windfall that was supposed to flow into our cities and our workers' pockets, it is being quietly eroded. Not by any foreign enemy, not by any act of war, but by a combination of policies, perceptions, and priorities that have made the United States feel less open to the world that was supposed to come spend its money here. Canada didn't lobby to get those fans. Mexico didn't run a campaign. They are simply the beneficiaries of a door that America chose to close, and the dollars are walking right through it. No shots fired, no battle fought, just billions of dollars quietly gone. I'm Rachel, and on this channel, we follow the money so you don't have to. If this opened your eyes today, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to Rachel Maddow News so you never miss a story that actually matters. And drop a comment below. Do you think America is making a mistake? Let me know. I'll see you in the next one.